Genesis 30. Jacob's family. Rachel now knew that she could not give birth to any children for Jacob. So she became jealous of her sister. Rachel said to Jacob, "Please give me children, if not I will die." Jacob became angry with Rachel. He said, "Am I God? God has stopped you from giving birth to children." Rachel said, "Take my servant Bilhah and have sex with her. Then she can have children on my behalf. Through her, I can have a family." So Rachel gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob to become his wife. Bilhah became pregnant and she gave birth to a son for Jacob. Rachel said, "God has shown that I am right. He has listened to me and he has given a son to me." Because of this, she called the boy Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah became pregnant again. She gave birth to another son for Jacob. Rachel said, "I've fought with my sister and I have won." She called this son Naphtali. Leah saw that she had stopped having children, so she gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob as a wife. Zilpah became pregnant and she gave birth to a son for Jacob. Leah said, "This is very good." She called the boy Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah gave Jacob another son. Leah said, "I am very happy. Women will call me happy." So she called this boy Asher. It was the time to get the wheat in from the field. Reuben went out and he found some mandrake plants in a field. He took them to his mother, Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Give me some of the mandrake plants that your son gave to you." But Leah said to Rachel, "You took my husband from me. That's bad enough. Now you want to take my son's mandrakes too." Rachel said, "Okay, if you give me some of your son's mandrake, Jacob can sleep with you tonight." In the evening, Jacob came in from the field. Leah went out to meet him. She said, "You must sleep with me tonight. I've paid for you with my son's mandrake." So Jacob slept with Leah that night. God listened to Leah and she became pregnant again. She gave birth to a fifth son for Jacob. Leah said, "God has helped me because I gave my servant Jacob as a wife." She called her son Issachar. Leah became pregnant again and she gave Jacob a sixth son. Leah said, "God has given me this valuable gift. Now my husband will respect me because I have given him 6 sons. She called this son Zebulun. Some time passed and Leah came pregnant again. She gave birth to a daughter. She called her daughter Dinah. Then God decided to help Rachel. He listened to her and he let her become pregnant. She became pregnant and she gave birth to a son. Rachel said, I am not ashamed anymore because God has given me a son. Rachel called her son Joseph. She said, I pray that the Lord will give me another son, Jacob's sheep. Jacob's sheep. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob spoke to Leah. He said, let me go away now. I want to go home to my own land. Let me take my wives and my children with me. I've worked for you so that I could have them. You must let me live, because you know how much I have worked for you. Laban said to Jacob, if you are happy with me, then please stay here. I know that Lord has blessed me because you are here with me. I've used magic to know that. Laban also said to Jacob, tell me how much I should pay you for your work. I will pay whatever you want. Jacob replied, you know how much I've worked for you. You know that you have many more animals now, because I've taken care of them. Before I came, you had only a few sheep and goats. Now you have many more valuable things. Whatever I have worked for you, the Lord has blessed you. But now I want to work to help my own family. I must do that soon. Laban asked, what must I give to you? Jacob replied, you do not need to give me anything, but just to do one thing for me. Then I will still take care of your animals. I will make sure that nothing bad happens to them. Do this. Let me go among all your animals today. Let me remove any animal that has a mark on it or that has more than one color on its skin. I will also take any black lamb. That is what you will give me for my work. In the future, this will show that I am honest. You can check on my animals whenever you want to. I will only have sheep or goats that have marked on their skin, or black lambs. If I have any other animals, you may call me a robber. Laban said, I agree to this. I will be as you have said. On that same day, Laban went to his animals. He quickly removed all the goats that had marks, both male and female goats. He also removed all the black lambs. He gave these animals to his sons to take care of. He sent those animals a long way away. It would take Jacob 3 days to reach them. While this was happening, Jacob was taking care of Laban's other animals. Jacob took branches that it had cut from trees. He took them from poplar trees, almond trees, and plane trees. He cut wide lines on the branches. He stripped off the outside part of wood to show wide lines. Then he put the branches in the place where there were big bowls of water from the animals to drink. They were in front of the animals when they came to drink. The animals could see the branches when it was the right time for them to have sex together. When they had sex in front of the branches, they gave birth to babies that had skin with marks. Jacob kept these rams separate from the Laban's animals. He took the rest of Laban's female animals to join with the animals that had marks or were black. In that way, he got more animals that would belong to him. He kept them separate from Laban's animals. Jacob waited until the strong female animals were ready to have sex. Then he put the special branches in front of them near the big bowl of water. Then these animals would see the branches when they had sex together. But if the female animals were weak, he did not put the branches in front of them when they had sex. As a result, the weak animals would belong to Laban, but Jacob would keep the strong animals. In this way, Jacob became very rich. Many sheep and goats belonged to him. He also had female servants and male servants, as well as camels and donkeys. Jacob runs away from Laban. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were complaining about him. They were saying, Jacob has taken anything that belonged to our father. He has taken things from our father and he has become rich himself. And Jacob could see that Laban was not as nice to him as he had been before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Go back to the land where your father and grandfather lived. Go back to your relatives. I will be with you there. Jacob sent a message to Rachel and Leah. He said that they must come to the field where he was taking care of his animals. Jacob said to Rachel and Leah, I see that your father is not as nice to me now as he was before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have worked very hard for your father. I have worked as well as I can, but your father has cheated me many times. He has changed what I received for my work at least 10 times. But God has not let him hurt me. Sometimes Laban said, I will pay you with the animals that have different colors on their skin. If he said that, all the animals gave birth to babies with different color on their skins. Sometimes he said, I will pay you with the animals that have marks on them. Then all the animals would give birth to babies with marks on them. In this way, God took away your father's animals and he gave them to me. One night I had a dream. It was at the time when the animals were becoming pregnant. In the dream, I saw that the male goat had marks and different colors on their skin. The angel of God spoke to me in the dream. He said, Jacob. I replied, Yes, here I am. The angel said, Look carefully. See all the male goats that are having sex with the female goats. They are the marks and different colors on their skin. I am helping you because I have been the bad things that Laban has done to you. I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel. That is where you pour oil on the special stone and you made the promise to me. Now I am telling you to leave this land. Go back to the land where you were born. When Jacob told that to Rachel and Leah, they replied, Our father will not give us anything more when he dies. He knows things of you, things of us, as if we are fallen people. You worked hard for him so that we could become your wives. He has cheated us as well as you. So everything that God has taken away from our father really belongs to us and to our children. So you must do everything that God has told you to do. So Jacob put his children and wives on his camels. He put together all his animals and everything that he had received in Padan Aram. He took them with him to go to the land of Canaan. He left to go back to his father Isaac. Before they left, Laban had gone to cut the wool from his sheep. While he was away from the house, Rachel took the idol that Laban worshipped in his house. Jacob received Laban the Aramean. He didn't tell Laban that he was going away. Jacob went away quickly and he took all his things. He went across the Euphrates River. He went toward the hill country of Gilead. After 3 days, someone told Laban that Jacob had gone away. So Laban took his relatives with him and he followed Jacob. After 7 days, he found him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God appeared to Laban, the Aramean, in a dream at night. God warned him, Be careful what you say to Jacob. Do not say anything good or bad against him. Jacob had put up his tent in the hill country of Gilead. That is where Laban found him. So Laban and his relatives also put up their tents in the place. Laban said to Jacob, Why did you do that? You have deceived me. You have taken my daughters away as if you had caught them in a war. Why did you go away secretly? Yes, you have deceived me. You should have told me that you were leaving. Then I would have prepared a big meal. We would have been happy together with songs and music. But you didn't even let me say goodbye to my daughters or my grandchildren. What you have done is not right. I have the power to hurt you. But last night, the God of your father appeared to me. He told me, Be careful what you say to Jacob. Do not say anything good or bad against him. I know that you want very much to return to your father's house. That is why you have left my home. But why did you take my idols? Jacob replied, I left the secretary because I was so afraid. I thought that you might find me to take my daughters away from me. But if you find your idol with anyone here, the person must die. While your relatives watch, you may look for anything that belongs to you. If you find anything, then take it. Take it. Jacob didn't know that Rachel had taken her father's idols. So Laban went into Jacob's tent. Then he went into Leah's tent. He also went into the female servant's tent, but he didn't find the idols. When he left Leah's tent, he went into Rachel's tent. Rachel had taken the idols. He had put them inside her camel's seat. Then he sat on them. Laban looked everywhere in Rachel's tent, but he didn't find the idols. Rachel said to him, Do not be angry with me, sir. I can't stand up in front of you. It's the time of my monthly blood loss. So Laban looked everywhere for the idols, but he didn't find them. Then Jacob became angry and he quarreled with Laban. He asked Laban, What I've done wrong? What scheme have I done against you so that you had to catch me? Now you have looked through everything that I have. Did you find anything that belongs to you? If you have found anything, put it here in the tent, in the open. Then your relatives and my relatives can see it. Our relatives can decide which of us is right, you or me. Jacob continued to say to Laban, I've worked for you for 20 years. Your female sheep and goats have all safely given birth to young ones. I've not taken any of your male animals as food for myself. If wild animals attacked your sheep or goat, I didn't show them to you. I myself paid you for them. If any animal was lost in the daytime or at night, you said that I must pay you for it. This is what it was like to work for you. I worked in the strong heat of the sun in the day. I had pain from the cold at night. I couldn't always sleep. It was like this for 20 years as I worked like a slave for you. I worked for 14 years to pay you for your 2 daughters. Then I worked for 6 years for your sheep and goats. You changed the one you paid me at least 10 times. The God of my father, the God of Abraham and the father of Isaac, was with me. If it had not helped me, then you have sent me away with nothing. But God has seen what you have done to hurt me. You have seen how hard I have worked for you. So last night he told you that you had done wrong. Laban replied to Jacob, "These women are my daughters. Their children are my grandchildren. The animals are my animals. Everything that you have with you here belongs to me. But there is nothing that I can do today about my daughters or about their children. So we should be friends. Let us make an agreement together. It will show that we have agreed to be friends." So Jacob took a large stone and made it stand in the ground. He said to his relatives, "Go and get some stones." So they brought some stones and they put them together on the ground. Then they ate a meal together near the heap of stones. Laban called that place Jegar Sahadutha. Jacob called it Garid. Laban said, "These stones show that we have made an agreement today. That is why the place was called Galid." The place was also called Mizpah. That was because Laban said, "May the Lord watch you and me when we are away from each other." Remember that God is watching you. If you do wrong to my daughters, God will see it. And if you marry any other woman, remember this. God is watching you. Even if no one else sees you, God will know. Laban also said, "I have put this special stone before here, and the heap of stones near it. They stand there between your land and my land. I will not go past the stones to your side to hurt you, and you must not go past them to my side to hurt me. Let the God of Abraham, Nahor, and their ancestors decide if one of us is guilty." So Jacob made the promise in the name of God that his father Isaac worshipped. He offered the sacrifice to God there in the hill country. He asked his relatives to eat a meal with him. After they had eaten, they stayed the night there. Early the next morning, Laban got up to return home. He kissed his grandchildren and his daughters. He said goodbye and he blessed them. Then he left and he went back to his home. Jacob's Genesis 32. Jacob's journey home. Jacob continued on his journey to his father's house. On his way, the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is where God's army has put up their tent." So he called that place Mahanaim. Jacob sent men with a message to his brother Esau. Esau was living in the land of Seir, also called Edom. Jacob told his man, "This is what you must say to my master Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I've been staying with Laban until now. I've cows, donkeys, sheep, and goats. I've male and female servants. Now I'm sending this message to my Lord so that you will be happy with me. When the men returned, they said to Jacob, we went to your brother Esau. Now he is coming to meet you, and he has 400 men with him. Jacob was very frightened and upset when he heard this. So he separated his people into two groups. He also separated his animals. He thought, this Esau attack one group, the other group may run away safely. Then Jacob prayed, God of my grandfather Abraham and my father Isaac, Lord, you said to me, go back to your country and to your relatives. I will do good things for you there. You have always loved me. You have continued to be kind to me. I am not worth this. When I crossed the Jordan River to go to Haran, I only had my stick, but now I can make two big groups of people and animals. I pray that you will save me from the power of my brother Esau. I am afraid that he will come and attack me. He may also attack my family. But you have said, I will give you many good things. I will give you so many descendants that nobody will be able to count them. They will be as much as the sand on the shore of the seas. Jacob stayed in that place for the night. He chose some of his animals as a gift for Esau. He chose 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 female sheep, and 20 male sheep. He also chose 30 female camels with their young ones, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He told his servant to take care of them. He separated each group of animals from the other groups. Jacob said to his servant, go in front of me. Keep some space between each group of animals. He told the servant who led the first group of animals, when my brother Esau meets you, he may ask, who do you belong to? Where are you going? Who do all these animals belong to? Then you must say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift that he has sent to my lord Esau. Jacob himself is coming behind us. Jacob also told the servants who led the other groups of animals, as well as the servant who followed behind them. You are to say the same things to Esau when you meet him. You must also say, your servant Jacob is coming behind us. Jacob thought, Esau will be happy to receive my gift. He will no longer be angry with him. Then, when I meet him, he will not hurt me. So Jacob sent the man with his gifts to go on to meet Esau. But he himself stayed in the place for the night. During that night, Jacob took his 2 wives. his two female servants and his 11 sons to go with him. They went across the Jacob. They went across the Jabbok River, where there was a place to cross. After Jacob had sent his family across, he also sent all his things across the stream. Then Jacob was alone. A man came and fought with him for a long time. They continued until dawn. The man saw that he was not winning the fight against Jacob, so he hit Jacob's hip while they were fighting. In that way, Jacob's hip moved out of his proper place. Then the man said to Jacob, "Now let me go because dawn has come." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked Jacob, "What is your name?" Jacob replied, "My name is Jacob." Then the man said, "Your name won't be Jacob anymore. Your name will not be Israel. Will now be Israel. That is because you have fought with God and you have fought with man, and you have won." The Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But the man said, "Why do you want to know my name?" Then he blessed Jacob in that place. So Jacob called the place Peniel. He said, "I have seen God face to face, and I will still alive." The sun rose in the sky as Jacob passed through Peniel. He could not walk properly because of his hip. Peniel. Even today, the Israelite people don't eat the meat of an animal where it joins to the hip. This is because God touched Jacob's hip. Genesis 33. Jacob looked up. He saw Esau with 400 men coming toward him. So he separated his children into groups. Some went with Leah, some went with Rachel, and some went with his two female servants. He put his female servant and their children at the front of the group. Then came Leah and her children. But Jacob put his son Joseph with Rachel at the back of the group. Jacob himself went in front of these groups. He bent down to the group to respect Esau. He did this 7 times as he came nearer to his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and he hugged him. He put his arms around Jacob's neck and he kissed him. They both wept. Then Esau looked up. He saw the woman and children. He asked, "Who are these people with you?" Jacob replied, "They are the children that God has given to me, your servant." Then the female servant and their children came to Esau. As they came near to him, they bent down to the ground. Then Leah and her children came and they bent down in front of Esau. Last of all, Joseph and Rachel came to Esau, and they also bent down to the ground. Esau asked Jacob, "Why did you send all those animals in front of you?" Jacob replied, "So that I would be happy to see me, my lord." But Esau said, "Keep your animals for yourself, my brother. I've enough in animals of my own." But Jacob replied, "No, if you are happy to see me, please accept these animals as a gift from me. When you met me and I saw on your face, it was like I saw the face of God Himself. I am happy that you have met me as a friend. So please accept the gift that I brought to you. God has been very kind to me, so that I have everything that I need." So Esau accepted the gift because Jacob would not agree to keep them. Then Esau said, "Let us continue to go on our way. I will travel with you." But Jacob said, "My lord, the children are not very strong. Many of the animals have young babies. If we go too far in one day, then all the animals will die. So you should go in front of me. My lord, I will travel slowly with the animals and children, so that they are comfortable. Then, my lord, I will come to you in Seir." Esau said, "Then let me leave some of my men to travel with you." But Jacob replied, "You don't need to do that. All I want is for you to be happy with me." So Esau began his journey back to Seir that same day. But Jacob went to Succoth instead. He built a house for himself, and he made a hut for his animals. That is why the place is called Succoth. After Jacob left Padan Aram, he traveled safely to Canaan. He put up his tent there, near the city of Shechem. He brought the piece of ground where he had put up his tent. He paid 1,000 pieces of silver to Homer's sons to buy the land. Homer was the father of Shechem. Jacob built an altar in that place. He called the altar, "The God of Israel is the true God." Genesis 34. Dinah was the daughter of Leah and Jacob. One day she went out to visit the young woman who lived near Shechem city. Hamor the Hivite ruled that region. When his son Shechem saw Dinah, he took hold of her. Dinah could not get free, and Shechem had sex with her. He liked Dinah very much. He loved her. He spoke kind words to her so that she would love him too. Shechem said to his father, "Hamor, I want to marry this girl. Please get her for me." Jacob heard that Shechem had sex with his daughter. At the time, Jacob's sons were taking care of his animals in the field, so he didn't do anything until his sons came home. Shechem's father Hamor went to talk to Jacob about Dinah. Jacob's son now heard what had happened, and they came home from the field. They were very angry because Shechem had done such a bad thing. When he caught Dinah and had sex with her, he had brought shame on Jacob's family. It was a bad thing that nobody should ever do. Hamor said to Jacob and his sons, "My son Shechem loves your daughter. Please give her to him so that she can be his wife. There should be more marriage between your people and our people. Our men should marry your daughters, and your daughters should become wives for your men. Then you can live among us. You can live anywhere you want to in this land. You should live here, buy and sell things, buy land and houses here." Then Shechem said to Dinah's father and brothers, "I would like to make you happy, so ask me for whatever you want, and I will give it to you. I will pay you the gift that you ask for Dinah. It can be as much as you like. I'll pay it all because I wanna have Dinah as my wife." Because of the bad things that Shechem had done to Dinah, Jacob's son decided to deceive him, and they deceived his father Hamor too. They said, "You can't give our sister to a man who has not been circumcised. We would be ashamed to do this. If you want to marry Dinah, you must do one thing. You must circumcise all your males. Then you will become like us, and we will agree for you to marry Dinah. Then we'll give you our daughters so that your men can marry them, and our men will marry your daughters. We'll live among you so that we become one people with you. But your men must agree to be circumcised. If not, we'll take our sister with us and we'll leave this place." This idea seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. Shechem's family respected him as an important person, so he and his father quickly did what Jacob's son told them. Shechem agreed to do it because he wanted very much to marry Dinah. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of the city. They spoke to their men there. They said, "Jacob's family are our friends. Let them live in our land and buy and sell things. This land is big enough for them and us. We can marry their daughters and they can marry our daughters. But we must do the one thing that they have asked us to do. We must circumcise all our male in the same way that they do. If we do that, they will agree to live among us. Then their things and their animals will all become our things. So we should agree to be circumcised as they ask. Then they will live among us. live among us. Old men were at the city gate agree with Hamor and Shechem, so they were male in the city was circumcised. 3 days after the men were circumcised, they still had a lot of pain. Then 2 of Jacob's sons attacked Shechem's men with their swords. None of the men were prepared to fight. Jacob's 2 sons were Simon and Levi, Dinah's brothers. They killed every male in the city. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem. Then they took Dinah from Shechem's house and they left. Jacob's other sons also saw that the men of the city were dead. So they took everything that they wanted from the city. They did that because it was the place where Shechem had done a very bad things against their sister. They took all the sheep, goats, cows, and donkeys. They took everything that was in the city and in the field near there. They carried away every valuable thing for themselves. They also took all the men's wives and their children. They took everything from the houses in the city. When they returned to Jacob, he said to Simon and Levi, "You have brought bad trouble to me, the people who live in this land. The Canaanites and the Perizzite will hate me. I will be like a bad smell to them. We don't have many men to fight for us. If the Perizzites and Canaanites join together and they attack us, they will destroy our whole family." But Simon and Levi replied, "Shechem should not have had sex with our sister as if she were a prostitute.